guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid, and boy, you picked a good day to stop by my channel. I have got an unboxing, or rather a Happy Mail unboxing to beat all Happy Mail unboxings. Now this box full of decks, it was originally 2 boxes, but I sort of consolidated it to 1 box, was sent to me by a very generous viewer, a fellow Texan. Now this viewer has sent me some Happy Mail before, some decks, and I will link that video in the cards and or the description box below. But oh my gosh, there's some decks in here that I have no idea what they are, and you'll see what I mean. So without further ado, there's not going to be any fancy editing, because get a drink, get a snack, get a warm comfy blanket, because we're going to be here for a little bit. I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but oh my gosh, you guys. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. We're not messing around because we have a lot of goodies to get through. Now, many of these decks, some are used and some have not even been opened. They're still in, you know, original packaging, mailing packaging, like this deck right here. This is the 78 Tarot Nautical, Tarot of the Water. Now this is very, very exciting for me because I do not own a deck by Tarot 78. You know, they do limited printings and then you can't get them. And I've missed out. And of all the decks, this probably would be the one best suited for me. So let's get it opened. Okay, so this deck comes in a beautiful tuck box. Very beautiful. Look at this design and these colors. Now, if you don't know, if you're brand new to tarot, these decks by Tarot 78, they're done by a compilation of artists. So they're a compilation deck of artwork from different artists. So 78 artists, 1 nautical deck. And it's a global art collaboration, so by Artists Assembled. Very, very cool. And this deck does come with a guidebook by Tish Sullivan, and she's very well known in the tarot community. And the guidebook does tell you all the artists. It has keywords and a brief description. But there are no pictures, but this gives you, I guess, what you need. Let's see if there's any spreads in here. There's no spreads, but you get all of the artists in alphabetical order and their contact information. This is very, very cool. Now, I'm not going to do a complete flip through of any of these decks, just an overview, but oh my gosh, some of these really need to be shown by themselves, I think. Look at these backs. These are gorgeous. Now, as you can see, this card size is much bigger than a standard tarot deck. Look at this. I think it's even bigger than a standard oracle size. It is quite chunky, and my poor little hand. So you can see we have the title of the card and the artist on the bottom. So let me get in a little bit closer. Some of you may like that, you know, the name of the artist, but some people I know don't vibe with compilation decks because, you know, something about the flow. I think I have one, the Pride Tarot, which is a true compilation deck by US Games. Oh, look how beautiful this is. Oh, wow. I think that's the only one. I have held off on the Ostara Tarot because I didn't know, you know, for that reason, if it would interrupt the flow for me, but I love the Pride Tarot. And I am enjoying the artwork in this deck and the different vibes in it, the different artwork by all these wonderful artists. Oh wow, this is stunning. And I don't know, I may do just a complete short musical flip through video of all the cards, maybe a short, you know, 5-minute, 10-minute video. If you want to see it, let me know if you're interested. I'm sure there are unboxings and complete flip throughs of this deck on YouTube, but I just wanted to show you, just in case you're new to my channel, just in case you don't know the deck. Oh wow, this is beautiful. And yeah, I'm not gonna flip through every card because we need to get on to the next one. If you want to see complete flip through, let me know. I don't know about the availability of the deck. I will research it and put any information, links of all these decks in the description box below. All right, the next goodies. I am just so overwhelmed. These are second editions of the Victorian Romantic Tarot. Now I have the 3rd edition and I have ordered the 4th, the upcoming 4th edition. But when I was looking to get the Victorian Romantic, I got it after the 3rd edition had sold out. So I had to pay above market price on eBay. And I'm totally glad I did before it got outrageous, but I love this deck. And I was unaware that it came in a mini edition, which this wonderful viewer also included. Now, most of you, you're very well familiar with the Victorian Romantic, but just in case you're not, especially with the mini edition, I do have a mini edition of the Bohemian Gothic, but I wasn't aware that there was one initially for the Victorian Romantic. And you see, this one was autographed. I am so, I'm just in awe, you guys. The 2nd edition, those of you that know, was gilded. The 3rd edition was not. And these are the backs, and you can see that it's a little bit different from the mini and the larger deck. But I believe the mini came out with when the 2nd edition. But the backs are different. And this is just flipping through a few cards. Now I love mini decks, especially for larger spreads, and it's really nice because Baba Studios decks are again a little bit larger than, you know, a standard tarot deck. So having a mini edition of this deck is very, very cool. Okay, I know I could flip through all these beautiful, beautiful cards. The mini edition, I don't believe, comes with the extra lovers card that the full size does, but that's okay. All right, we have to get on to the next deck. While we're on Baba Studios, you guys have to look at this. Those of you in the know what this is. I believe this is a 1st edition of the Baroque Bohemian Cats by Baba Studios, because it's in a tuck box, and the subsequent editions, I believe, came in the clamshell box that they're doing now. This is a 1st edition tuck box, and I am just, I'm speechless. I don't have this deck, and I'm a big Baba Studios fan, but by the time I got into tarot, this deck was no longer available, and I believe the 3rd edition of this deck was unavailable. It has the larger floral borders, and Baba Studios is working on a new edition, a totally reimagined edition of this deck. And I don't know when it's going to be out, but I'm really excited about it. I don't know if I want to open this deck right now because I am planning on getting the new edition of this deck, and I may want to just keep this to be really special. I don't know. I'm going back and forth as to if I should open it. You guys, I can't stand it. I'm gonna open it. Holy cow, you guys. These are the original backs. I think they've changed them, but I don't have any of the more current editions. I think they did change the borders to make them smaller, but this is a wonderful floral border. I think that the book is still available on Baba Studios and it's discounted, so I'm gonna rush and get that book while it's still available. I don't know what edition it's for, but I want to make sure that I do have the book, and I'm sure it'll be okay to use with this deck. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. But you know what? I have some more decks to go through, so I can't spend too much time, so here we go. Now, there were not only deck goodies in this box, there were also a couple of other things, and my lovely, generous viewer sent not one, but 3 of the silk drawstring Baba Studio bags. 1, and here is 2, and here is 3. Pretty amazing, isn't it? And I like these little tags on the back. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Now, also included in the box was the Moon Void Tarot, the older edition. Now, I'm not certain if this is a first or second edition. Recently, I have purchased the Kickstarter of the 3rd edition, and I have that video of the unboxing on my channel, and I'll try to remember to link it up. But in that video, I did mention how I would have liked to have gotten one of the older editions, and it was out there, and I kept passing it up until it was no longer available. And one of the reasons why was because it does follow just one central figure, and I kind of avoid that. But here is the deck, and maybe you can tell me in the comments below if you notice any difference, if you can spot right away what edition this is. So I am really, really excited to get this older edition of the Moon Void Tarot with the corresponding guidebook. I think it's fantastic. I am so, so excited and grateful. This viewer must have been paying attention because in my video, my unboxing of the 3rd edition, I mentioned how I would like to get, you know, an older edition. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next deck in the box is the Fantastical Tarot by Natalie Hurst, and it's a US Games deck, so a mass market deck, but I don't know if it's still available. But the cellophane has been taken out, but look at this. It's still shrink wrapped. Still shrink wrapped, and this deck was not in my wheelhouse, and I was totally unaware of that. But I'm going to unwrap it here, and we're going to take a quick look, just in case you are unaware of this deck as well. Look at these backs. So reversible backs, which is always cool. And let's take a look at this artwork. Oh, wow. Let's see what it says. The otherworldly imagery of this deck evokes myths and legends as old as time itself. Even after many readings, there will always be something new to discover, offering insight into the soul. When used with a clear mind, this deck will help you progress to a higher level of existence, closer to the dream world of the Fantastical Tarot. Oh, wow. Now this reminds me, now I would say that this artwork isn't totally in my wheelhouse, but I do have decks that are a little bit darker like this. And the Deviant Moon is one of them. I'm digging it. Something a little bit different for my collection. It is dark. And I don't know when this deck was published. Let me see. Okay, so this is an older deck. 1999 by US Games. And I have no idea if it's still available, if you can purchase it off at the US Games website or Amazon. But I think this deck is very, very evocative, and I will definitely have fun trying to work with it. Oh, wow. Very evocative. Very cool. All right, on to the next deck. The next deck seems to be another older US Games deck. It is the Karma Tarot. Now the shrink wrap on the outside has been taken off, but the deck is still in its shrink wrap. And just really quick, let's look and see when this was published. Oh my gosh, 1983. So it's by a Danish artist, Brigitte Bolin Erfurt. Oh, wow. See, I don't know if this deck is still available. Let's take the plastic off. All right, very huge cards, as you can see. Look at that. Very, very huge. Interesting backs, so they're not going to be reversible. Now, this kind of fits the aesthetic of a deck that was published in the 80s and 83, so ooh, early 80s. Oh wow, so there is a renaming of the cards. This is interesting. Okay, this is so interesting, and I hope that there's a little bit of information in the guidebook about this deck and the renaming of the cards. What was the inspiration for this deck? Again, giving me vibes of the Deviant Moon with some of the characters. Something that's not in my normal wheelhouse, but see, neither was the Deviant Moon, and I love that deck. So, you know, you have to be, don't be too quick to knock out a genre because it's not your normal thing. You know, you never know. You just really, really never know. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting, but we have to move on. Now, this is a shocker. This is an absolute shocker. This is the Tildwick Tarot 2nd edition, still new in its shrink wrap, as you can see. Now I'm gonna take the plastic off right now. Now the reason why this is such a shocker, talk about synchronicity. I've been going back and forth about getting this deck for a long time. There's the beautiful back of the box. And I've seen it numerous times on Sarah Sunset Bow's channel. And recently, the ladies on the Wildwood Tarot podcast did a feature episode on this deck. The creator is deceased, sadly. And let's see, this talks a little bit about him. Very, very sad. But I believe his brother did the second printing of this deck. And then it was only a limited 2,000 copies, and once it was done, it was done. And after I heard the ladies from the Wildwood Tarot podcast, I hope you're listening to that podcast. It's a lot of fun. I decided I was going to get the deck after going back and forth. And then when I went to purchase, it was sold out. And I was very disappointed. So I am I'm going to keep saying grateful and overwhelmed all the time, but there are no other words to express what I'm feeling right now. And the generosity of this soul to send me this gorgeous, beautiful deck. And I don't think I've ever said publicly on my channel that I was interested in this deck or that I wish I had it. But here it is. And I just want to show you the gorgeous copper bronze edges. I don't know the specs on the first edition, you know, how it differs from the backs and the edging. If you have a first edition and you know, let me know in the comments below. You know, if you notice any differences in the box, the back of the cards. And this is the Wildwood Tarot by Mail-palooza. The next deck is another deck that was totally, you know, not on my radar. And I believe this is an older deck, the Kitty Kahane Tarot. Let's see, it's published by Urania. So I don't know if it was an indie deck, a mass market deck. I don't know anything about it. And let's see, was there something written on the cellophane kitty? I don't know. Let's get this opened up. Okay, on the back of the box, it looks like this could be Dutch, possibly German. I'm not sure, but oh wow, it's a larger deck, as you can see. Let's see if I can get it open. Oh wow. This is by Lilo Schwartz. Let me know in the comments below if you have this deck. And when was this published? I have no idea. 2006. And this book is not in English, so the book is not going to help me, but that's okay. Let's look at the images. And this is how it's boxed, and the cards are still in their plastic. Okay, right off the bat, I love these backs. This is totally in my wheelhouse. Let's turn these over, and we've got some nice cardstock, nice feeling cardstock. It's like good US Games cardstock. Oh, and there is the lovely, lovely creator. I wish I could read Dutch or German or whatever language this is in, but it is fantastic. I have a foreign deck. Oh, I do. Okay. This has a lot of vibes of, like, reminds me of my Minute Tarot. This is so fun. And what did I say? 2006 for the publication? Wow. Okay, so this is whimsical, beautiful, bright, you know, pastel colors. This is in my wheelhouse. The box is quite big, but I'm glad to find out that the cards are their standard tarot size. It's just the box that's big because the book is kind of an unusual size and it's thicker. I wish I could read the book, but oh well. It looks like it pretty much follows the RWS system, so maybe I'll learn a little Dutch or German while I try to read with this deck. But I love it. I love the images. But we have to move along. Now, there is something in this beautiful sparkly bag, and I think it's obviously an indie deck. Elle, it says, like the magazine. And it has this little pouch with 2 compartments. It's a little bit ripped on one side, but let's see what's inside. Now this is a smaller deck. Is anything else in here? You see that pouch? It's like a velvet. And, okay, I'm not crazy about the title on the back of the cards, but let's take a look at the cards, the imagery on the cards on the other side. So there's a border, and the illustration is by Woon Woo. Very interesting. So this is, look, a small card, kind of like Lenormand size. I know nothing about this deck, so please type what you know about this deck in the comments below. But I do, again, I like the artwork. I really do. It's got that kind of arts and craftsy, homemade kind of vibe, you know, sort of along the lines of the Minute Tarot, which I love. I'm not crazy about the cardstock with the Minute Tarot. It's a little bit on the delicate size, but this is good cardstock. This is totally good cardstock. And I do like the imagery. You know, it's too bad it has the borders because this is a smaller card. And, you know, they have the artist, you know, illustration by the artist. And then it's got the titles on the back, but you know, this is a portable little deck, so that's always a plus. And I do like the imagery. I really do like the imagery. But we must move on. Next, we have not a deck, but a little goodie. This, I believe, is one of Joanna Nelson's wonderful all-seeing eyes. And I've always wanted to get one of these. Yes, Joanna Nelson Studio. I don't think these are still on her site anymore. But look at that. I know I've seen a lot of other people who have bought these, and I've wanted to purchase them, one of these or 2, but you know how it is, you never get around to it and then it's unavailable. Yeah, this is stunning. Oh, so fun. Okay, this next deck I know nothing about. Just on the front of the package, which I won't show you because it has this person's address, but this came from Whitney Wildwood Studios. You see, it's all new in the packaging. I have no idea what this is. There's no guidebook, but there is an autograph by Whitney Wildwoods or Whitney Woods. And it's, I guess this is an indie deck that just came in this picture plain tuck box, maybe an Etsy deck. I don't know what this deck is. And let me get closer, but if you know, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna open it up. So these are the backs, and this is very interesting. It's nice cardstock. You know, along the lines of make playing cards. Yeah, it's very sturdy and easily, you know, manipulated. But look at this. I know nothing about this deck. Please, 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 if you know anything about this deck, leave it in the comments below. So it came from Whitney Wildwood Studios. Now I tried to look them up and it looks like they sell some like home goods, candles. I didn't find any decks. So if you know anything about it, please let me know when it was originally sold. Was it a Kickstarter? Was it just a independent Etsy deck? I have no idea. I love the images. And even though the borders, you know, get in the way of having a more expansive picture, they are pretty and they are well done. Yeah. See, this is in my wheelhouse. This is something I would use. But I was never aware of, so I'm sorry, I keep hitting the table here, but oh my gosh, look at this moon. And the sun. The moon and the sun. How different vantage points, you know, how differently things look from night to day, day to night. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yo, yes. Instant judgment, right? That is pretty dark. Okay. So I'm gonna have, if you want a complete walkthrough of any of these decks, please let me know and I will do it. But because I have so many decks here in this box, I am just doing a quick flip through. You know what these figures remind me? Oh, what's that deck? The Delos Tarot that you can't get anymore. I wish I could have, but I didn't. I think it was already basically out of print by the time I got into tarot. It's kind of a mixed bag with the humanoid figures depicted here. But yeah, I'm totally digging it. Okay, the next deck that we have is an Argentinian deck. Okay, my Spanish is not the best, but it is the Oracle de los Oricas. I think I said that right. By Nancy Silvia Maschialino. Okay, let's get this opened up. The box is a little on the cumbersome side. I had a hard time figuring out how to get it open, but here it is. So this is all you get for information. And it is all in Spanish. I can read Spanish a little bit. So major and minor arcanas, you don't get a lot of information. But let's look at the cards. Looks like they got a little bit mixed up. So those are the backs. And then let's flip through a few cards. Let me get a little bit closer in. So we're in the bastos, so wands. And so is this mostly a black and white deck? Let's flip through really fast. So maybe the colors change. Okay, so very much a pip deck, but not in the Marseille style at all. Let's see if we can find the majors. Okay, so it does look like the majors are in this kind of peach, orangey color, and then all the minors are in the black and white. Very interesting. I know nothing about this deck when it was published. Even if it's still available, I'll try to look and see if I can find anything and leave it in the description box below. If you know anything about this deck, please put it down in the comment section below. I'm very curious. Very, very interesting to see, you know, what they put out in other parts of the world, you know. Very, very cool. Very interesting. All right, moving on. Again, we have another little deck that I was completely unaware of, and it is the Sock Monkey's Guide to Cartomancy, or the Sock Monkey Tarot by Rick Shell, and it was published in 2013. Okay, and as you can see, it just came in this clear plastic little box. Now this is a little deck, kind of Lenormand sized, and those are the cute backs. And ooh, look at the Fool. All right. All right, cute little whimsical deck. Oh, it looks like you have little captions. I guess it's supposed to capture the essence here with the court card. So the King of Needles, he says you're doing it all wrong. The Ten of Swords equates empty wallet. That's interesting. The Seven of Swords, thanks for the needles. Glad I convinced you to buy the interchangeables. So this represents a frenemy. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. This is hilarious. Okay, a deck with a sense of humor. The Queen of Pearls. So would that be Pentacles? I think so. Oh, this is funny. So this is definitely a deck with a sense of humor, a very whimsical deck. This is the kind of deck that you might want to pull out for, you know, an event reading or, you know, a party, that type of thing. Definitely. This is kind of the thing you might want to have. Just kind of a tongue-in-cheek reading on the fly. Yeah, this is a great deck. Very funny, and I had no idea of its existence. So this is so fun. All right, but we have to move along. Okay, the next one is in its original mailer, and it looks like it's by Bobby Alexander Decks. Now he, I believe, lives in Houston, Texas, so not far from my neck of the woods. And he does a lot of Kickstarter decks, kind of digital collage compilations from existing artwork, you know, theater posters and the like. And yeah, this is Bobby's Tarot Decks. Yep. And I have no idea what deck this is, but it has a very vintage feel, and it's still in its little, oh, sleeve. So it came in this cute little burlap bag, no box, but look at these backs. Aren't those gorgeous? It kind of goes with my mat that I have here. These backs remind me of something along the lines of, you know, the aesthetic of Antique Anatomy, Memento Mori Oracle. Oh yes, vintage imagery. And it's a cute little kind of bridge or poker size deck. So let's just flip through a few of these. Reminds me of the vibes kind of the Lua Tarot by Marie Bento, but also of the Victorian, is it the Victorian Tarot by Taroko? Is it Taroko Studios? I don't have that deck, but I've seen some walkthroughs of it. Okay, this is in my wheelhouse, you guys. This is definitely in my wheelhouse. It's nice to have a smaller tarot deck sometimes because, you know, for larger spreads. And yeah, it kind of has the vibe of the Lua Tarot. This reminds me of the Lua Tarot. You could use this with the Antique Anatomy or the Memento Mori Oracle. I have no idea what this is called, and if you know, please leave it in the comments below. This is fantastic. And this, what is this, JJ Granville? I have no idea. Oh yes. Oh yes, I'm so excited. You know I love this kind of artwork. But as much as I would love to gush on this, we need to move on. Oh yes. And I've gotten a deck that I'm very, very curious about and that I've seen a lot on a few channels, and it is the Elle Tarot, which you can still get today, but I believe they've changed the packaging. This is a US Games deck, and it is based, I think it's mostly based on the Thoth system, which I haven't, you know, studied at length at all, but I've been intrigued with this deck, and so I am going to have fun using it. I've seen this a lot on Katie Flowers' channel and some other channels, so you know, I hadn't bit the bullet on it because, you know, you have to make choices, right? You can't get everything you want when you want it. So this is a welcomed gift. So excited. All right, moving on. Look at this. The second edition of the Elle Tarot. Now this is a deck I have passed up on because it is an animal deck, and it's an animal deck that's on the darker side. But it doesn't mean I haven't been intrigued and tempted by it. This deck, he sent it to me. It hasn't even been opened, and you can see it still has the shrink wrap on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There are lots of unboxings of this deck. It's been out for a while. I don't know if it's still available though. But you see what a beautiful, expansive guidebook that comes with this deck. The packaging is beautiful, and this is for you newbies, especially who, you know, may not be familiar with this deck. But it is still, everything is still shrink wrapped. I just took the plastic wrap off of one section, and oh wow. Look at these beautiful backs, and the cardstock is very nice. It is edged in black. Again, I have no idea if this deck is still available, but let me get in a little bit closer. And just to flip through a few of these cards, this is a beautiful and stunning and deep deck. And for that reason, I kind of stayed away from it because I didn't know if I would be able to read with it. Now, I was very, very picky with my animal decks that I have. I don't have a ton. And because this deck is an animal deck, and my first impressions from what I'd seen of it was that it's, oh my gosh. Is this an armadillo? It's Texas. I didn't know if I'd be able to read with it, if I'd be able to read with it easily. I can read with the Wild Unknown. Now, it took me a long time to be able to read with it, and it still isn't a deck that, you know, I get easy hits on. You know, it's a deck I have to sit with and ponder. But I do enjoy reading with it, so I don't know if this is going to be one of those types of decks. Now, this is kind of a scary image for me, and it is one of those cards that kind of like, I don't know, you know, and I hadn't bought the deck. But now that I have it in hand, I'm going to be really excited to work with it and see. I think this moon is just stunning. Oh, wow. So for those of you, maybe you're new and you know, you're not familiar with the Elle Tarot, there are lots of unboxings online of this deck, the first edition as well. But I'm just doing a quick flip through of all these decks because they were wonderful gifts and I wanted to share them with you. So moving right along, oh my gosh, the Six of Cups. Okay, I love it. I love it. Whether or not I'll be able to read with it, I don't know, but I'm loving it. But this looks like it's an early edition of the Dame Darcy Tarot. It didn't come in a tuck box, and it's, you know, the ungilded edition. So it's a very early edition, just on, you know, regular cardstock. I don't know if there was a deck mod or something done because it looks like there's edges here. I think somebody tried to do a deck mod with it because the borders are a little bit uneven, but you know, this would be great. I love the Dame Darcy Tarot. I have the you know, the clamshell box, the magnetic box one with the edging, and I love the deck. So this would be kind of a great option to carry around in your purse because you don't have to be too precious with it. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, I'm very glad to have this in my collection because yes, I can throw it in a purse, and you know, which I wouldn't really want to do with my nicer edition. And yeah, throw it in the bag and you're off. So this is really fun. All right, these two decks, I'm counting them as one because they came as a set. And from what I gathered, this was a Kickstarter from a year or two ago, the Mermaid type tarot, and then the Mermaid type tarot Mermaid edition. And it looks like the little white books are exactly the same that came with the deck. I think you could buy one or you could buy the set of two. He included, it looks like probably Kickstarter spiffs. They're a little bit different, and they come in these brown craft, you know, paper type tuck boxes. And this one is coming undone, so I have to be careful with it, but I'm going to take these out of the boxes. Okay, so a definite difference with the back. So this is the party edition, and this is just the regular edition. So we flip them over. And this is what you get. So it looks like the imagery is the same, but one you get a bright colored background with borders in the party edition, and this one you get just the black. I think I'm really digging the black. I don't know, what do you think? The images are a little bit different. I like the unbordered edition quite a bit because the imagery is larger, brought up more to the forefront. But then I like this pastel coloring too. It's really great, two options. This is by Mita Klein, I believe. And yeah, I had no idea of the existence of this deck, but it was available, a Kickstarter from a year or two ago. I'll try to find and see if it's still available. Yeah, very, very interesting. So there are differences. There are differences. One's a play on the other. So it's nice to have options, right? And this is the Mermaid type tarot, regular edition, and the party edition. So we are down to the last goodie, and I saved this for last because I have no idea what it is. As you can see, it's wrapped up in its original packaging. It doesn't look like it's been opened. There is a thank you card. Think of a question, then open. Okay, this is fun. Okay, I thought of a question. Oh, wow. So, this looks like it's the Tarot 78 Tarot of Water that I opened earlier. It looks like it's from that deck. Okay, let's see what's in here. It feels like a book. All right, you guys, what's in here? It does definitely feel like a book. Oh, wow. Oh, holy moly. This is a hardcover book for the Tarot of Water. Oh. Oh my gosh. See, I didn't even know. Look at this. are glossy pages. Oh gosh, you get in the book, you get the artist's interpretation and card meaning, and you also get astrological association and element, as well as keywords and a nice big depiction of the card. So you don't have to bring your cards in bed with you if you are reading in bed. And you get a little biography of the all the artists, which you didn't get in the little white book of, you know, that was included in the deck. Oh my gosh. No words, you guys. No words. Oh my gosh. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. This is one of the artists painting his contribution. Oh, ink sketches, work in progress. I love it. Oh, the miracle cat. Oh gosh. Let me know if you have this deck. Oh my gosh. The artist has been working as a model for the Emperor card. Isn't it magical to look at an artist and a creator's process? Oh, no words, you guys. No words. So I hope you enjoyed opening up all this happy mail. All this happy mail with me. It is, you know, Christmas in November. Christmas came early for me because of one generous soul. And I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Except thank you, and you know who you are. I just can't believe it. These decks will be loved and cherished and used and explored, and I'm really, really, really curious about some of them because, like I said, they're not in my normal wheelhouse, and maybe they were put to my put in my path because I need to work with them. I know there's lots of lessons I need to learn, and maybe some of these decks are put in my path to teach me them, maybe to expand my knowledge, open me up to new experiences with the tarot. I just can't, yeah. Words are escaping me, you guys, they are. And if you enjoyed this walkthrough and opening up of truly, truly a plethora of unique decks, a cornucopia of wonderfulness, please consider hitting a like and subscribe. And I just want to thank you for spending time with me, and I'll let you get on with your beautiful day. Bye for now.